So guys, this is another breaking news. The Department of War preparing for action. Either the Nigerian government protects Christians or we buy the Islamic terrorists. This is coming from the US Secretary of Defense after Donald Trump threatened to invade Nigeria. Also, this other Twitter headline is saying that breaking news, Secretary of War Pete Hegseth says the US military is actively preparing to buy Islamists who are exterminating Christians in Nigeria following President Trump's directive. Yes, sir. The buying of innocent Christians in Nigeria and anywhere must end. So, guys, they are saying that Trump has already told them to just get ready. That once the order is issued, that they are not even going to wait. They are coming in to end this menace that the government has been romancing all this while. Let's call it spade a spade. All these things have been happening. There is no proactive action being taken. Anyway, let me just allow you to take a look at some of these videos and let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Now take a look.
The straining relationship between Nigeria and the United States, or more appropriately put, the way that the American president, Mr. Donald Trump, is taking the issue of the perceived attacks and killings in Nigeria. So this day leads with this headline: Trump in tweet threatens military action against terrorists killing Christians in Nigeria. And the two writers orders U.S. Department of War to prepare for possible action, vows to cut economic aid. And the other writer, we're preparing for action, says Hegseth, who is the Secretary of War. He used to be the Secretary of Defense, or, the Ministry of Defense. The story on top of it, which...
I am standing on the mass grave of 501 Christians, majority of whom are women and children that were slaughtered, literally slaughtered with swords and machetes. Some of them burned alive in their homes, and some of them who were babies, smashed on the wall, smashed on the ground with their brains spilled out completely, all for their faith in Jesus. The victims of the March 7th, 2010 attack in the village of Dogonahawa, located on the western edge of Jos, the capital of Plateau State in central Nigeria, are presently beneath my feet. Right? So you can just pan the camera just to the ground and be a tiny bit, and you can pull out. They are all here, and you can see how large this space is. Right? So, they were all impoverished villagers, some of whom could barely afford to feed in a day. And so, many of the survivors, very few actually, could not afford befitting or exclusive burials for their family members. And therefore, they were all lumped up, thrown upon one another in this mass grave that was dug several feet deep. It was probably more than 10 feet just to be able to accommodate the population that had been slaughtered and needed to be buried in it. And you can see how large this is. I estimate that this would be about probably 40 by 30 feet. I believe. No, it should definitely be more. From my left to my right would probably be short of 50 feet just by probably a few inches. And to the end there where you have that monument, the tombstone, that should be about 100 feet. So we're looking at a space of close to 50 by 100 feet, all containing skulls, skeletons, bodies, charred bone fragments of Christians that were slaughtered in one night by terrorists whom residents tell us were shouting Allahu Akbar and speaking the Fulani dialect while slaughtering innocent babies, slitting the bellies of pregnant women, pulling out their fetuses, pulling out their unborn babies and smashing them on the ground. Right here, I had the opportunity to meet with the pastor in charge of the Church of Christ in Nation in this community, and he has shared with us what the experience was like. And his video is contained in his interview is contained in the next video, and you can look that out. But I just thought that it is just important to highlight the gravity, the depth of the genocide against Christians that has persisted for more than 2 decades. We're looking at between 2 to 3 decades. And opponents of this anti-genocide campaign, including Muslim politicians, Christian politicians who are complicit and turning a blind eye, and even church leaders who are complicit and turning a blind eye, claim that the perpetrators of this genocide are mere terrorists who do not spare Muslims. But the question is, there were Muslims in this community within the years leading to this attack. But in the weeks leading to the attack, residents tell us that the Muslims, including members of the Hausa and Fulani ethnicities, who had previously settled here for tin mining.
Thank you, Mr. President, for declaring Nigeria a country of particular concern. But I'd like to suggest certain ways I think you can help Nigerians and Nigeria. Number 1, revoke the American visas of Nigerian government officials who have sided with Islamic terrorism in Nigeria. This is Bashir Ahmed, a former presidential aide. He posted this on Twitter. It is an honor to be called an Islamic extremist in 2024. Radical animals like this should have no access to America. It is in your best interest to revoke the American visas of people like this because they are Islamic extremists and they are so proud to be called that, as we can clearly see. Revoke the visas of Nigerian government officials who are not combating Islamic terrorism in Nigeria. A lot of them go to America to have children, to raise their children, while leaving Nigeria in shambles. They move around with armed security, leaving common Nigerians to be victims of Islamic terrorism. Please revoke their visas. It will not be unfair and unjust to revoke visas of people who clearly support violence, who clearly support extremism, people who clearly are profiting off the lives of Christians in Nigeria dying. Revoke their visas. Number 2, can you also launch an investigation into the properties they own in America and how they acquired it? It's very sad that we have a lot of corrupt politicians in Nigeria, and I'm very sure that a lot of them bought properties in America cash with stolen money, dirty money from money laundering. So 2 things: revoke their visas, launch an investigation into the properties that they have in America. A lot of them are criminals, a lot of them are corrupt, and they don't have any place in a civilized country like America. So why not just throw them out? And maybe if you do this, trust me, they'll begin to prioritize safety and the security of Nigerian Christians. Thank you.
I advise the president of Nigeria, President Tinubu, align yourself with America. Don't be deceived by those terrorists. Align yourself. Let's join forces together to bring an end to the Turjis that are walking freely on the street and the killer Fulani headsmen that are wiping away our people. Nigeria must regain its sovereignty. We have lost our sovereignty to these terrorists that are collecting tax from our citizens, ruling in different communities. It's time we regain it, and we need to align ourselves. Now help has come, and together we will win. We will stop the bloodletting. We will stop the genocide. We will stop our soldiers being massacred and also killed on the field because of the irresponsibility of our leaders.
You think it's a joke? You think it's a joke? Have you? War against Sharia. War against political Sharia. We have been saying this over and over again. You think the world is not listening? You are a joker. war against Sharia. There is no space for Sharia in a liberal society. You can't come and tell us Sharia, blasphemy law, in a civilized society. If the federal government cannot own up to the stand of the constitution, let's allow people that are humane to do the job. Abi, war against Sharia. And if you are against this, that means I feel you are a fanatic. Because let's put it, what is happening in Nigeria is political Sharia. Sharia for the poor. Sharia for the unaliving of the less privileged. Abi, war against Sharia. Allow people to express themselves. US, thumbs up. Fire on. This is just the beginning. You never see anything. You never know what do you. Abi, what thing they do you never start. War against political Sharia. The good Muslims knows that this thing is just all about promoting a situation where some radical ideologies will engulf and finish everybody, not just the Christians, even the Muslims that have the liberty to choose in regards to what they want to believe. War against them. Thumbs up. Tag Donald Trump. Tag United States of America. This is just the beginning. Fire on. And I believe you are listening. You are listening to us, and we're not going to stop. War against this. Unity for everybody. Progress for every Nigerian, irrespective of your tribe, culture, and affiliations. No hatred, no whatever, but the system must be liberal.
President Trump graciously declared Nigeria a country of particular concern, which is what we've been campaigning for such a long time. And to God be the glory, he listened as always. And for people who don't understand what country of particular concern is, country of particular concern is any nation that is particularly in severe violation of religious freedom of any people, no matter where it is. So the United States of America, when they see that severe violation of religious freedom, when they see that, they have the right to declare you a country of particular concern. And when that happens, America can no longer have security agreement or security cooperation with you. America would then decide, depending on the severity of the violation, can decide to place sanctions on entities that are suspected or seem to fuel that religious persecution or support or sponsor it. In the case of Nigeria, there are so many allegations out there of individuals in government or in politics who fund the activities of Boko Haram or the Fulani herdsmen or the plethora of other terrorist organizations that come into Nigeria almost on a daily basis. And now America, using their intelligence apparatuses, can find these people out and sanction them completely, every single one of them. They are not just going to sanction them. They're going to sanction their businesses, their affiliations, their partnerships, everything and everyone connected to them. They're literally just going to cripple them, And that is not the only thing America can do. America can also send in boots on ground to protect Christians who are endangered, as you can see in this case. Because, President Trump, after making the announcement of designating Nigeria, less than 24 hours later, he just sent another big bombshell and said if Nigeria doesn't do anything, that America is going to step in. And he has even instructed the Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, my brother, to be on standby and watch out. If Nigeria doesn't do something, they're going to come in, because President Trump has received more than enough information on the severity of the violation. We are talking about genocide, not just persecution of Christians on a lighter note, but proper genocide taking place. Nobody will hear something like that and be comfortable. So this is what has happened. President Trump is going to take action, and I believe that the regime that has been refusing to admit that there is genocide of Christians in Nigeria, that has chosen the path of propaganda, denial, and lies, and then attacking everyone who spoke up. I believe by now they know that time is up. It's no longer a business as usual. They must know that by now. Because when we started this campaign, in the usual Nigerian way, so many people joined in, especially after Mike Arnold, my brother that God used to rebuke the devil on our behalf, when they brought him with his partner as fact finders to come and change the narrative for the government and bend the truth, or rather even hide the truth and present the lies to the world. But God used him to give them a stunning rebuke, a divine repudiation. And before the whole world, at the very minute that they were supposed to tell lies about the ongoing genocide, they dropped the ball on the people who flew them into Nigeria and told the whole world that there is actually a massive, egregious, ongoing genocide taking place in Nigeria. That's Mike Arnold. I've made a video about him. That man, he doesn't know what God used him to do. I know about Bill Maher, who also raised the alarms and started this whole firestorm. And what about Rep. Riley Moore? This man came into Congress. The minute he stepped in, he started fighting for Nigeria. In April, he was speaking about Nigeria on the floor of the House. In July, he was speaking about Nigeria on the floor of the House. I didn't even know that Ted Cruz was ever doing anything about Nigeria until Bill Maher thing happened. But Riley Moore, I've read about, I've seen him, and it's been there. And today, I'm not surprised that President Trump mentioned his name as one of the 2 or so people who will lead the team to get information back to him. So people have been on top of it. The only people that have been missing in action are Nigerian Christians and preachers, the ones we've always looked up to. The Baba G.O.s and Papa G.O.s and Mama G.O.s, the bishops, the prophets, the preachers, the senior pastors. Where are they? I have even made a separate video to ask, what's behind the silence? Because the silence has been deafening. But you see, we are living in very strange and interesting times. Why did I say that? I said that because God is trying to teach you who identify as a Christian in Nigeria a lesson you will never learn from any pulpit. That God said in the scriptures that if mine does not worship me, I will raise stones to worship me, is a reality, it's not fiction. And he's teaching you that lesson now. That regardless of the silence of those who should have spoken up a long time ago, who instead joined the political correctness of the day to deny, to deflect, and to propagandize, or rather keep quiet. God said, despite the silence, regardless of whether they reacted or not, I will still move with just a very few. If you check, after we started the campaign, so many people backed off. I don't know if it is for fear of what could happen to them, or if it's because of the e-robots that the government of the day has unleashed on people who spoke up against this. They were attacking everybody left, right, and center on social media. Of course, I can't get bullied. That's the funny thing. I mean, that's a different topic. But nobody in this world can bully me. But when that happened, so many people backed off. It was just me, Mike Arnold, and just a few people. And we kept posting. I'm pretty sure a lot of people will be like, why are these guys wasting their time? America is not going to come and save you. You already know that Donald Trump is a racist because that's what CNN has told them. That's what all this mainstream media has told them. That, oh, Trump is... That's why many of them were angry with me for supporting Trump. I've been supporting and fighting for this man since 2016. God, literally, I talked about it. Go to my YouTube channel. You will see my videos. I single-handedly sold President Donald J. Trump to Africans and watched his approval rating on the continent of Africa go from single digit to multiple double digits. God used me. I'm not making an empty boast. I set up a campaign organization for him, the first ever outside of the United States of America, or probably on the continent of Africa, that worked with his own black voices for Trump to win diaspora African votes for President Trump, and we did. When I was invited to his inauguration, I was not surprised. It was shocking the way it happened, but I wasn't surprised. Because I know that the lies against this man, I've spent the better part of, since 2016, trying to tell the truth to counter the lies. And today that all your pastors and bishops and everyone you look up to has failed to come to your aid, it is the same President Trump who has stepped in when everybody has looked the other way. Very big moral lesson to all of you. May God bless him, may God keep him, and may God continue to strengthen him as he comes to the aid of persecuted Nigeria.
Good morning. This is a message to Donald J. Trump, the President of the United States of America. I want to use this opportunity to thank you for the step in the right direction, the designation of Nigeria as a country of special concern as regard to the genocide of Christians in Nigeria. That is a step in the right direction. Now, I want to plead with you, Mr. President, to take a further step in a better direction by putting instruments together for sections of Nigeria to determine their future and their fate in Nigeria through a democratic process. Christians of the South demand for referendum to determine if they still want to remain Nigerians or they want to opt out of Nigeria. These quests have been a long-standing quest the world have ignored. And I believe that in your administration, you have shown leadership to the world and you have shown that you have the capacity in solving issues. You have demonstrated that in many countries around the world where you took charge of situations and you brought peace. This is another piece, again, in the right direction. If you can help Christians of the South to determine if they want to remain in Nigeria through referendum, it will be in history that Donald J. Trump have made great contribution in setting a certain part of Africa free from domination and subjugation. Mr. President, it will be in history and your name will always be remembered as the man who saved Southern Nigerians from genocide and subjugation. Mr. President, I plead to your conscience to take this step in putting the instrument on ground to giving Christian South of Nigeria the possibility to determine their fate through referendum, and I hope that this message meets you well. My name is Ikem Patrick Dike. Thank you very much, and God bless you.
So guys, you can see what Nigerians are saying. These are the reason why Nigerians have been saying that the Tinubu's government is so dormant. So dormant that Nigerians have been lamenting over this spying of Christians. And for them, it means nothing because they are Christian, their own children are not involved. But at least now that the US is involved in this, we hope that the Nigerian government takes the right action. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you.